Okay, that's that off. Good. On the belts, you should be able to get about 10mm deflection either way, and the belt shouldn't be too tight, so you should be able to get a deflection. It shouldn't be like a bowstring, just slight deflection. Now, if any of your belts are squealing, it's not necessarily that they're too loose. It could be the belt is actually worn in the V. So don't always take it that your belt is loose if you get it squealing. It could be, but there's a good chance that your belt's loose and the edges of the belt, if it's a V belt, are glazed over and the belt's worn out. Okay, there's quite a bit of deflection on mine. I know they're not slipping and I know they're not too tight. And the problem if you get the belts too tight is you will wear out bearings. Now I'll show you the belt tensioner on these engines and just give you a look at them. This is one of the belt tensioners of these Fiat Talbot 2.5 diesels. Okay, very simple piece of equipment. Now this one's actually in not bad condition. I don't know if you can see, there's not really any movement there, and if I spin the bearing there's no noise, it's quiet. Now I had a problem with this bearing 2 years ago when I got the vehicle. Now I only noticed because it smelt hot. It was hot underneath in the bonnet, under the bonnet. And what was happening is this bearing had lost all the grease in it. Now it was still operating fine and there wasn't wear. What you did notice was when I put my hand in, I nearly burnt my hand on this bearing, and the belts were really hot. This bearing got almost red hot and I could actually smell the heat. So what I did is I removed this black cap gently with the edge of a Stanley blade. Now at that point I could spin that bearing and it spun really easily, very easily, and you could hear a swishing sound as you could hear the ball bearings metal to metal as they turned. Okay, and that's why it was getting red hot. There was no lubrication in it, and these are sealed up on both sides. So what I did, because the bearing wasn't too worn, is I took that cap off very gently and I melted with a blowtorch high temperature grease until it was almost like water, really runny, and I poured it into the bearings. Okay, and this particular one lasted a 4,000 mile trip around Europe. It was a bit dry when it came back. Again, I had to do the same thing again, take the cap, fill it with high temperature grease until I got a brand new one. And I've kept this as a spare because it's still okay. But I do urge you, it's a thing I wouldn't have come across apart from I'd smelt the heat. But if you're changing the belts, then please have a look at this bearing and see if it's running dry. If it is, and it's not too warm, you'll get away with putting grease into it. But do check it, because if this breaks when you're thousands of miles away from home, then you're in trouble. You can't get these anymore. I think some members of the Hymer forum are saying there are some place in Germany that will make them, but I've not been able to find. I did find a link, but they certainly didn't say they could make them, and they don't have them in stock, and no one else has them at the moment. The last one I got was £140, and the only other place that had them We're trying to sell them at £220, so I'm actually looking at some place to try and have these manufactured. So do check that. Okay, I'm not going to check on mine. I know it's a brand new one that's there.
Come back and see us in part 2. We'll be doing the oil and filter. Thanks for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Like to see you again. Bye.